Plyos, for me, is a town of childhood, youth, carefree days. People of a small town are very united. News can fly around the town in a day. You learn something new, and then it's, okay, let's move on.
On the way to work, I can say hello 30 times in a row because everyone knows each other. We have a small, friendly family. I once did a tour for some children from somewhere in Siberia. And when I took them up to the Saborная hill, one of them looked around and said, "I want to live here."
There are a lot of cities, but Plyos is unique.
We're used to peace and quiet. I don't think life in a big city would suit us anymore. Each and every morning, I come to the post office and start the working day with a check. I turn on the computers, run the software.
Good morning.
Good morning. The girls arrive at 8 a.m., about 10 minutes to 8. We collect the mail for the postman, send them out to deliver letters. Clients pick up their packages here. We ship parcels, send registered letters. Your package is 13 pounds. Handwritten letters are now rare, but people still write them. Tourists come here to send postcards with a view of Plyos. The expedited shipment of your parcel is 1,322 rubles. The smell of newspapers and magazines. There used to be sealing wax here. What a smell that was. We don't use sealing wax anymore. But the post office has its own smell. I've loved mail probably ever since childhood. When I was 14 years old, I used to help the postman deliver newspapers and magazines. I liked it. To this day, I work as a post office head. I've been working at the post office for 30 years. A big shoulder bag, lots of newspapers. We fill a whole bag with newspapers. We want to deliver a letter to a person and not just put it in the mailbox. It's better to deliver it personally. It's really lovely walking around town and seeing familiar faces. Our population is 1,700 people, and I personally know half of them, maybe even more. In summer, of course, there are a lot of people here, but it means that the town is more lively. It means it's alive. And in winter, it's quiet here. But Plyos has a beautiful winter atmosphere. That's the beauty of it.
I can endlessly talk about my favorite town. There's a lot of nature to soak up here. There are beautiful mists, especially on Saborная hill. You can go to one place lots of times, but every time you'll notice a new subject for a painting. My name is Serafima Lyachina. I'm an artist and I live in Plyos. I don't have my own unique view of it yet, because a lot of artists have already painted the town. I look at their paintings and ask myself what my Plyos looks like. I still don't quite know the answer yet. When I graduated from high school, I decided for sure that I didn't want to be a doctor. I wanted to become an artist. My parents supported me in this, because my father is an artist too. and he was glad that I wanted to continue his work. I was constantly drawing sketches at school, here and there, but I didn't think it meant anything. I often create my paintings and drawings when I'm feeling anxious. So it's a specific way of calming down. And when I look at the final works, there is something interesting about them. There is something about them, too. I entered the Moscow State University of Printing Arts. I went to the exams by myself. I passed them with flying colors, but the Unified State exam points were not enough. Moscow is a big city. There are too many different people. They're all rushing around somewhere. I'm quite an impressionable person. I can't get enough rest when I'm in a noisy city like that. I hardly painted there at all. When I finally returned from my trip to Moscow, I realized that it was a great joy to work in a small town, to live here, not to have to go to any big city. It's actually great that you can work from home. I want to do everything in as high a standard as possible. I want to teach people. I want to pass on some of the knowledge I already have. I would really like it for my work to be actually beneficial. I want people to embrace art because my dream is for my students to enter art institution. I want them to follow that path of art and creativity. I want to be helpful to society. This is what all people in Plyos have in common.
Look at this wonderful painting, the Volga. We can see the steamer smoking. The Plyos inhabitants must be drinking tea with raspberry jam, eating sturgeon pies at home. My name is Lyubov Mikhailovna Lebedeva, a researcher at the Plyos Museum Reserve. I've been working at the Leviton House Museum for over 10 years. I'm from an old Plyos family of the Fomichevs, Lebedevs. My family split into two branches. These are the Fomichevs. They were merchants. Fyodor Afanasovich Fomichev was one of the richest people in Plyos. His son, Ivan Fomichev, is my great-grandfather. He was friends with Isaac Leviton. I knew nothing about the second branch. It turned out to be a family of priests. There were 4 brothers, and later on, 2 of the priest brothers became doctors. My grandfather studied at the Imperial University of Dorpat. He started working as a surgeon in 1926. During the war, there were hospitals here. He was a leading surgeon at these hospitals. He performed almost 3,000 operations and had a unique collection. When he took shrapnel out of the wounded soldiers, he marked it with the soldier's name and their wound type. And when I began to sort out our family archive, I opened a very old cabinet riddled with bugs and saw catalogs of traveling exhibitions from the 19th century, magazines, World of Art, Niva magazines. And so everything that I find now in my archive goes to the Plyos Museum Reserve. Here you can see items from the collection of the Fomichev-Lebedev family. Isaac Leviton could have seen this writing set. I remember this inkpot perfectly well. well. When I was in elementary school, we still wrote with fountain pens. And all my friends who came to my house loved this ink pot. Of course, I feel satisfied, that it's not just me who can see these things, but also people who come to our museum. It's a rare contact with living history, and it's right there. These are the Leviton clouds. After the storm, after the rain, floating over the Ayu Dag. Slender cypresses, the opal sea beats against the rocks, far away by the Partenit. I love tourists from Moscow and St. Petersburg. They're curious and educated people. We have a magical interaction. I once did a tour for some children from somewhere in Siberia. And when I took them up to the Sabornaya Hill, one of them looked around and said, "Oh, I want to live here." Now it's quiet. It has its moments. I like walking. But now I mostly go skiing. I can't do without it. Once, I participated in a downhill race on our ski track on the Milaya Hill. I love skiing.
Plyos is for everyone. For some people, it's a tourist spot for sightseeing. For others, it's a place to come and live. My name is Ira. I'm a snowboarding instructor. I also have snowboard rentals and guest rooms in Plyos. Snowboarding offers people the views that they will never see traveling by feet. And I also teach people. I introduce them to the world of snowboarding that they can enjoy, that I enjoy every time. And it doesn't matter if it's a 3-year-old child or a 70-year-old man. Now we have to learn how to move with one unfastened boot. Turn around downwards. This way. Well done. Well done. Try to keep your legs still and slow down. I come from Kostroma, but my mother's side of the family is from Plyos. I used to come here in winter, to spend the winter here to work. But in the end, I was offered a job of an instructor, and then it all started. People who can fulfill their ambitions here, of course, leave. But everyone can find a job. Everyone can fit in. My mother inherited the part of the house that we're in right now from her grandmother. And I bought out the second half of the house from my mother. And now I'm renovating it. Actually, there weren't any cheap hotels in Plyos. I travel from time to time, and I stayed in hostels for a very reasonable price. And it occurred to me that young snowboarders like me could come here and stay here for 500 rubles. Demand creates supply. There are not enough ski rentals? Okay, we will have our own rentals. There are no budget rooms? Okay, now we have affordable rooms. I came up with the name Snowboarder Shelter in winter due to the winter hobbies and topics related to the mountain. The old Plyos, the Plyos of my childhood, is always in my warmest memories, close to my heart. But what's the point of living in the past? Everything is being modernized and developed. And I'm just trying to look at the pros and make the best of it. I want to have kids. This desire is the most important. It's more than something material. I'd like to, not to leave a legacy, but to find a new joy in life. And I have time to enjoy everything else.
Now show me what you've done. You couldn't fill out the brief yesterday, you did it at home. Good for you. Everyone open your copybooks and wait for me. My name is Marina Yurevna Feofanova. I'm a teacher at the Plyos College of Business and Tourism. It was destiny. After graduating from the Shusky Pedagogical Institute, I came to Plyos and started to look for a job. As a homeroom teacher, I remember the names of all of my 700 students. I've never worn high heels. I prefer this kind of sporty style. That's a reflection of my temperament. My colleagues used to make comments about this, that I was a teacher, that I should walk slowly. But I just can't. I'm the first to arrive and the last to leave. When I happen to leave work at 4:30, the guards say that there must be something wrong. Evgenia is here, Lera is here, all the students are present. We can start the lesson. So, hello, students. I was one of the early adopters of unconventional forms of conducting classes. That is, we don't have any lectures. We use business games. I insert this element into any lesson so that they can demonstrate their creativity and achieve a result. Now we'll go through a problematic situation. I will act as the client, and you will act as tourism managers. I address Irina, but we haven't rehearsed the dialogue. We'll try to act it out on the spot.
Good afternoon. How may I address you?
Hello, my name is Marina Yurevna.
Pleased to meet you.
I've had to deal with troubled students. We tried to give them some interesting work, assigned them some tasks, showed them that they could do it, accepted them into agitation teams. Those students changed completely. You have to capture their attention and highlight their strengths. We have students who have never come up to the blackboard in school. They just sat in class quietly, wrote something, and answered the questions. But here they say they've never come up to the blackboard. Please, raise your hand. Who would like to go on a trip themselves using this route?
Everyone would love to.
Everyone, right? They have the potential, but nowhere to apply it. They don't develop the abilities they have. There are no clubs, no sections, or any other additional classes. They think that's life here. First graduation, then work. But they may have huge hidden potential. Professional competence. It includes our knowledge of English. And why do we need it at all? Why do we need to learn about information technology? I love our children, our students. I could leave Plyos. I was offered a job. I was even invited to St. Petersburg to work as a teacher. But we invested a lot of effort into our students, so as not to leave them like this. Happiness for me is when everything is fine at home. My son is okay, and no one misses the classes. When my students achieve something, when they absorb what you taught them, then graduate, you see that your efforts have not been in vain. A mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, an outstanding teacher shows, and the great one inspires. I'm a good teacher for now, but I'm gonna be great.
The house was completely reconstructed. and it's the smallest house in Plyos. The ceiling height here is only 6.5 feet. The roof ridge height is 13 feet. The distance between walls is only 11.5 feet. I'm Svetlana Ivanovo. I work and live in Plyos. I'm an architect. I was here as a kid. In the 70s, we traveled with our family on a motor ship past Plyos. And this sweet little town left an impact on me. And then, when I graduated from the Architectural Institute, there was a distribution, and I got an offer to go to Plyos. And I knew immediately that it was right up my alley. The architect's work is actually very polyphonic, extremely. You come out of the gate and you're at work. These are typical Plyos houses. This is Russian architecture, which we preserve and cultivate here. Because, thanks to each preserved old house, we suddenly have a place that people come from far away to see, just to walk through these streets in silence, to view city panoramas. A small house with 3 windows is the most authentic for us. It's the Russian cultural code. When we see a house with 3 windows, with a stove, with a chimney, we understand that we are at home, we are in Russia. Before restoration, these houses were in ruins. The 90s hit everyone hard. People had no money to fix the roof, nail a board to the fence, paint the house, change the windows. And there were more and more houses in a state of decline. In Plyos, there are certain requirements and rules, though not official, and coloristic too. There are specific colors which you may use here in Plyos. We always work with old-timers. We find out all the facts, who lived in which house, what their way of life was, what they were, who they were. It's a detailed historical reference. In such a house, you feel time and the town in a completely different way, because this is a stunning, authentic historical house with a preserved oven, doors, and all-door carpentry. Houses are like children. You are thinking through their future, carrying out how rooms are going to turn out, what color, what texture, how it's all going to mix. And after that, the house begins to live its own life. Architects are always ambitious. Yes, they have to make a statement, to leave a mark in history. When you work in a big city, you should advertise yourself. And when you work in a town like Plyos, you have to drop all your ambitious goals. You have to be humble here. And you have to do something real, valuable, which can determine the purpose of your professional activity and maybe even life. It's the most ordinary life, small-town life. Everyone is busy with some ordinary and familiar things. And all these ordinary things add up to all the great things around you. They give you the purpose of your life. Of course, I'd like to see more living houses, because I want the town to live, so that it wouldn't be just a beautiful picture, but it would also have a soul, so that there would be a light in every window. You could come in and say, "Hi, it's me. Put the kettle on." The feeling of happiness is when this aura is around, when people around you are happy, when you are comfortable, when your loved ones are at your side. Well, I'm happy.
I'm comfortable here. I can't imagine myself without my garden, without my favorite job. I don't want to leave Plyos. I found myself here.
People with less income tend to leave for large cities. They make a career there, find happiness, make money. They have other goals, other needs. People who come here want to stay here because they want to live here. They want their children to live here, or even grandchildren. They want to grow old here and live a happy life in Plyos.